Hi everyone, my name is Hannah and I work here at Kensington Consulting, and I'm joined by Eliana Fu, who, if you want to introduce yourself for our audience.
Yes, thank you, Hannah. It's great to be here. I'm Eliana Fu. I'm Senior Raw Materials Supply Chain Engineer here at Relativity Space, which is a new flight company here in Los Angeles, California.
Brilliant, okay. And can you just explain what you do at Relativity?
Yes, absolutely. My role is to help the supply chain development of raw materials that we need for additive manufacturing, with our ultimate goal of being the first company to fully 3D print an entire rocket. So what that means on mostly metallic products would be metal powder and, in our case, wire as well.
Brilliant, very interesting. Okay, so with that in mind, what interests you the most about how companies such as Relativity are adopting additive manufacturing?
Yeah, totally. If you want to talk about aerospace and space exploration, particularly, additive manufacturing can be a great tool to basically increase the speed of design iterations, to increase manufacturing speed, and to be able to obtain parts that have either unique designs or unique shapes or optimized for lightweighting or whatever it is in such a fast time frame as opposed to traditional manufacturing. That's the attraction.
Brilliant. Okay, and I understand you've got the Stargate, which is the largest metal printer, and you're planning to build rocket ships with that, which is pretty interesting.
Ooh. Yeah, so Stargate, as far as we know, is the world's biggest 3D printer. When we talk about 3D printing, it's basically additive manufacturing. So anything where you add material to something instead of starting with a block and machining, which is subtractive, that's taking away material. So yeah, we've got some unique designs and unique products that only we make with the Stargate system. On the other side of the additive manufacturing spectrum, there are the other more established techniques like laser powder bed fusion, or what you call direct metal laser sintering, that we also use for other kind of parts too. So it's finding a balance of doing stuff in-house and also sending things out of house to suppliers.
Okay, that's really interesting. So what would you say Relativity are doing within AM to kind of differentiate themselves away from the rest in the market?
Using additive manufacturing for making a rocket is something that never has been done before. Lots of other people out there, like the SpaceX's and Blue Origins and Boeing, ULA and all that, they are indeed making parts with additive, but they're making parts or they're making assemblies. There isn't anyone else who's got the entire vision to make 3D print the whole rocket. So that is what sets us apart from everybody else, I think. Yeah.
Brilliant. Now, obviously, I've seen on your website, and I know you guys are looking to kind of have an automated factory to build the Terran 1, which is the whole 6-day procedure from raw materials to actually getting it out there in space. So with that, there are key concerns that robots are going to take over the workplace and we're all going to lose our jobs. What is your opinion on that?
Yeah, I don't think we're quite at the point where the machines will rise, although I do think that that's more likely than the zombie apocalypse. But if we talk about automation, machine learning, or AI, artificial intelligence, those are definitely tools and goals that we will see in the future. People will go to more of a human interaction, hands-off approach, and just be able to work smarter, faster. You know, machines obviously don't need to take a tea break and things like that, and they don't get sick and you know, don't have to run off and take the dog to the vet and that kind of stuff. So we can think about a more enhanced sort of production value when we move towards automation. There are lots of obviously key tasks that humans still need to do. Humans still need to provide the programming and so forth. So we'll always have those kind of needs, but it's working smarter and harder, but using the machines or the robots to do so, which I think is going to be the main benefit. And you're going to start seeing more and more people integrate the kind of factory of the future kind of ethos as we go forward into making large scale, large manufacturing.
Brilliant. I really like that. Okay. So the number of jobs advertised has actually doubled this year compared to Q1 in 2018. And aerospace really dominated the job market. Now, do you feel this sector will continue to keep the bar raised and encourage growth again in 2019?
Yeah, it's a really interesting subject matter you bring up there about basically the jobs market. What we've started seeing in the last 10 or 15 years is the number of jobs available for traditional metallurgy, let's just say, which would be forging, casting, all those kind of things, are actually diminishing, which is actually really sad in a way, because it's like we're almost losing those key skills that we've had. Blacksmithing has been around for thousands of years. But on the other hand, it's also great and really encouraging to see that more and more jobs in additive are coming out. So we will see demand for those skills. We are seeing actually right now a little bit of a bit of a tight market in terms of people who have hands-on experience with DMLS machines and so forth. And so those are things that we need to encourage with training, with hands-on experience. Maybe we can do some vocational classes. I myself am even taking a vocational class. I'm taking a MITx Pro class in additive manufacturing, even though you could argue that I don't need it. I have a master's degree and a PhD in material science and 13 plus years experience in aerospace, but I'm not too proud to say, hey, I need to learn a little bit more about additive manufacturing. And that's what I'm doing by taking this class, just to increase my own skills, my own knowledge. And there are workshops and one-day seminars and things that we can do online as well that are really useful. I encourage everyone to do that.
Perfect. Yeah. So that leads me on to my next point, is how we can kind of encourage the future generations to get involved with additive manufacturing, and what the next thing could possibly be. It could be AI or it could be robots. So those kind of techniques are, quite good to get involved with, getting those courses under the way along with experience.
Yeah, and I think that even encouraging younger people, especially kids, in schools is a key way to engage people. What I think is you're going to see 3D printing everywhere. It's going to be in every high school or every primary school. At least there'll be a polymeric-based 3D printer where they can print little tools or Lego bricks and things like that, and then learn what the concept of adding material to something to make a structure, even if it's something as simple as, trying to 3D print their own little dinosaur or structure or something that they designed themselves. Once we engage with young people, that's how we're going to get people more interested in. But what I also feel like the uptake of 3D printed parts or products will also be in the consumer base, actually. So much like when you watch Star Trek and they go up to the replicator and they press a button and something just pops out, we're going to have more of those replicated parts. And it could be something as simple as like eyeglasses or jewelry and things like that. So like I could have a 3D printed ring, for example, that's custom made and has like custom engraving already built in with the laser that I can just engrave it right then and there.
Yeah, that's really interesting that you kind of touch on that. I know Q1 last year, the job market, the medical sector literally had as much as about less than a fifth of dominance. So that's literally nothing compared to aerospace. But Q1 this year, they've actually taken up a third. So the medical dentistry sectors are really taking advantage of the whole customization for their patient-specific parts that are needed. And then I know like businesses such as Pandora taking on 3D printing as well, and even companies like I think Estee Lauder and L'Oreal. So yeah, it really is kind of coming about quite quickly, and I think it's gone away from being a wow factor to how can we actually change people's lives for the better. So it's a great transition to see additive manufacturing go through.
Yeah, and I think aerospace has led the way, space and aerospace, because they are the most demanding applications and the most critically sensitive. So understanding how mechanical properties change with printed parts versus traditionally made parts is part of that process. But how I think it will spread amongst, the general population will be more on the consumer product side. Like you say, if somebody wants a specially designed shoe and they want to go to the sports store, they're going to have their feet measured, they're going to have made to measure shoes, order your shoes and then come back, go shopping, come back, and then your shoes are printed, there you go. Or something along the lines of the person who had a 3D printed titanium rib cage just because their own ribs were deteriorated or something. And that's like a life-saving procedure, which only could have been done with additive because that person's ribs were custom printed to his own physiology. So that's amazing.
Yeah, it's great to see it compete against traditional manufacturing standards. It's very innovative and I love it. So as additive manufacturing develops, have you seen a change in how suppliers are accepting the materials and methods used in additive manufacturing?
Yeah, it's really interesting. On the metallic side, which is the side that I get most involved with, what I've noticed is that the suppliers who are making the raw material for additive manufacturing parts are actually the same people who make traditional tools for billet bar, sheet, plate, coil, and so forth, like, for example, that we see in aerospace, or wire for medical. They're the same people. But what they are understanding now is the call from their customers for more material that go into the additive manufacturing stream. Yeah. So in order to do that, they themselves have to develop sort of strategies of how to manage that, how to guarantee supply, how to make sure that both modes of manufacture for traditional manufacturing and for additive are met and fed accordingly. Yeah, it's a kind of challenge.
Yeah, fantastic. And do you feel that will then create more supply chain based roles in additive manufacturing?
Yeah, I think it's really important for them to understand that they need to have the roles which not only in sales, but also it's supply chain management that also bring those things together. So it's everything together, from supplier quality to incoming quality to inspection to not just the manufacturing part, but also the salespeople themselves that the suppliers have to understand this processes too. So everybody has to actually start learning. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, thank you very much for your time today, Eliana. I've really enjoyed talking to you. But yeah, so if anyone needs any advice, then do comment on this post. And myself or Eliana would be more than happy to make contact and have a discussion with you. Are you going to Rapid at all?
I am going to be at Rapid. I will be at the Women in 3D Printing event, and there will also be a 3D talk, which is like a chaired session with 3 speakers. I'll be in the audience for that. I may also be with Alison Mendoza. Stay tuned for more updates on that, but we may be leading a session which is kind of on the exhibition floor, but it's not confirmed yet. But otherwise, yeah, be sure to come and hit me up, because I'd love to talk to anybody about additive manufacturing. It's a great subject matter and something that's evolving and changing all the time. It's a really exciting time to be in this industry sector. So yeah, I encourage everyone to get involved. And yeah, if you have any questions, just hit us up on LinkedIn.
Brilliant. Yeah, we'll be there as well. We can't wait for it. It looks like it's going to be a really good show.
Great. And we'll look forward to seeing you there as well,
yes,
Hannah.
Eliana, we'll definitely have to meet up for a coffee.
Right.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.